Hello.
Hi. I always forget that like once you actually like hit it and it pops up and we're live, we're not testing anymore.
Right.
Surprise.
That's true. I always forget that it just that I don't have to get rid of the other background because it's us. That's very interesting. That is very interesting. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully well. How are you today, Victoria?
I'm fantastic. I can't believe it's 4 o'clock. Like I literally feel like I woke up and it's 4 o'clock, which is really a change in pace from what I have been feeling like sometimes.
We did a lot of stuff today, and I think
we did do a lot of stuff.
That's right. And 45 minutes of hammock time creeped up on us quick.
That's rough, man.
Yeah.
It felt like 5 minutes.
It did. It always feels like 5 minutes in the backyard with the birds and the hammocks and the leaves coming on the trees.
And the sunshine today.
Hi, Sharon. Hi, Pat.
Hey, guys.
Pat picked up her raffle prize that she won from last week.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very, very fun. So
exciting.
welcome. If you are watching us on Facebook, please do what it says on the bottom of the screen and start a watch party because that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
We can have more people that are watching this with you and exposing People Advocates of America to more people, which we really appreciate. That is a big part of our mission right now is just getting folks outside of the people that have known about us for the last 12 years. We're looking for new people to know about us now. Mm-hmm. And one way to do that is by sharing posts and starting watch parties and whatnot. Don't forget, if you make a comment like Sharon and Pat and Crystal have done so far, they're already entered to win a People Advocates of America t-shirt. Yes. So you got to do that during the live, though. So if you're watching this recorded, I'm sorry, that's a live thing. And I know that you might be at your job or something and you couldn't watch live, and I really apologize for that. It's a bonus for the people that watch live, though.
And comment anytime during the live session. Just say hi. Let us know how your pups are doing.
With emojis.
We love emojis. Dog emojis, paw print emojis.
Any kind of emoji is fun.
Absolutely. Raffle stuff?
Sure.
Sweet. So speaking of t-shirts, Crystal P, you commented just now, you were the winner of the t-shirt picking last week. So woot woot. I believe we already have been in contact with you. Your t-shirt is ordered and it's on the way. You are from Escanaba, Michigan. So that's really exciting too, because we do want to reach people from outside the state of Wisconsin to help us grow. So yay, Escanaba.
I know. So Escanaba's getting a t-shirt. Crystal, you better wear that thing like every single day for a while. Get it out there. Not that you can go anywhere right now, but if you do go in public for your necessities, just always have it on, and then you can turn in, you can take it off when you get home. That's totally fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Sure. And the last week's raffle, which was the Victoria's Secret bag and some fun spa goodies, Tracy Hansen won that. So Tracy, if you are listening now, congratulations. But we will let you know. We'll email you. We'll find you. We will find you, and we will give you your prize.
We'll email her. We have her email. Yes, we do. All right. So we will do that. I just wanted to say really quickly hi to Lynn and Danny and Shelly and Taylor and Jen and Edith and Kaylin. Those are some really new names. I know. So you're commenting to get the t-shirt, which I totally understand. But if you tell us where you're from, though, too, especially if you're new to People Advocates of America or to watching this, or you're just deciding to comment for the first time. But I meant to People Advocates.
Oh. We're fine. Just where are you from? We'd like to know. We're curious.
She always wants to make things shorter. It's so much more fun if you elaborate.
But welcome. So anyway, for the raffles, moving on. This week we have an awesome prize for all of our coffee lovers out there. We have
tea.
Yes, coffee and tea. Anything else? Okay. So we have 2 mugs. One is a Sugar Skull mug, and the other one is a People Advocates of America coffee mug. You get some coffee, you get some tea, You get a $25 Starbucks gift card, and that is super exciting. And you get a really cute pit bull wall hanging. It's a really cute artwork done by a local artist here in the Milwaukee area, Brittany Farina. Thank you. I cannot pronounce her last
We would
name.
show you, but the glare in here is really
rough,
bad, and
yeah.
you're not going to be able
We
to see
tested
anyway.
it. You couldn't see anything.
But once you're done watching this, you'll be able to see.
You will be able to see, yes. The picture will be posted on our Facebook page, and it will also be posted in the event. So be sure, after you are done watching this, to hit up those things, and you'll be able to see the awesome picture filled with goodies. There will also be a link. You can click that, and you can get tickets for this week's raffle. So again, it runs this week until next week, which is May 20th already. Can you believe next week is May 20th?
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
No.
Crazy. So from now until then, you can purchase those tickets. You can purchase them today. You can purchase them tomorrow, next week, up until
You can
Wednesday.
purchase them now and next week.
Yeah.
You could purchase them every single day of the week.
If you like to live
We'll
dangerously,
allow that.
you can do
Yeah.
that. Yes. So each ticket is $5, or you can get 5 tickets for $20. And there's also a monthly raffle. So we're doing a weekly raffle and a monthly raffle. The monthly raffle runs from now, until the end of May. And that is a Kate Spade bag. It's a cute little bag. Again, there are really pictures on our social media as well of that. So you can find that as well.
Yeah, we're lucky that I have a honest daughter.
Yeah, she really likes that one.
Every time that she walks by that thing, she's like, "Oh, that's so bad." And I'm like, "Well, you can't have it. You're not eligible for the raffle." Poor thing. I know.
So that monthly raffle Kate Spade bag is $10 per ticket, and you can buy that anytime from now until the end of the month.
Again, you can purchase that ticket every single day if you'd like to.
Twice a day if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats your boat is absolutely right. I'm just going to get rid of that and let people see.
That's so fancy.
I know. Aren't we fancy? So we've got some folks from Denver, from Colorado, from Maine, Indiana, and some folks from here in Wisconsin, in Mequon and in Milwaukee.
We're so sorry, Edith.
Yeah, we really are.
That's so sad.
It's really, really hard. Yeah. One of the dogs that has been an ambassador dog for our organization for very many years recently passed, and we're really sorry about that too, to Kristen, and in honor of Daisy. So yeah, it's not to be a downer, but just really quick, it's a hard time in Pit Bull Advocates because we're 12. So the dogs that started this organization there's only a few of them. There's only a few of them left. So so we feel your pain, and we know how hard that is, and we appreciate the fact that you rescued before, and we're pretty sure that you'll be able to do that again someday.
Yeah. And 15 years old is a long life.
Oh my
13
gosh,
and 16 for Shirley. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That
awesome.
Sounds like a full life. So today we're going to talk. So last week, if you weren't with us, we asked if anyone had any specific things that they'd like to hear us talk about, and we got some ideas from those comments. We'll do the same thing maybe at the end of this broadcast too, just for fun. See what else. I mean, we still have some left over from last week, but we decided that today we're going to talk about interacting with strangers when you're walking your pit bull type dog and you come upon somebody that is being maybe not so nice, maybe a little bit offensive, or wants to go to the other side of the street, or wants you to go to the other side of the street. This is actually an issue that is part of the reason why this organization was ever even conceived and born, because this actually is one of the things that I went through on a day-to-day basis with Capone, who was my very first pit bull. And it was really, really hard to deal with. And back then, which is a long time ago now, but back then in 2002, almost 20 years ago, Anyway, I'm only 25. Isn't that crazy?
Truly, it's a miracle.
My first
really.
pit bull at 5, and I was advocating already. It's nuts. But yeah, so it was a lot different back then too, and people were even, I think, in a lot of places a little bit less, a little bit less compassionate than and a lot less educated about pit bull type dogs. And Capone was an intimidating young man, for people that didn't know him. And I can see why some people might have been a little bit caught off guard. So I feel like that's kind of where I would really like to start this really quick, is that I think we should be honest with ourselves about the fact that that some people are going to look at our dogs and they're going to find them scary. This is something straight out of Pbaoa University, and so in Pbaoa University, we put up some pictures on the screen, and I chose some more scary, some more scary ones. And but still, to me and to everyone that was like in Pbaoa Universities, I'm always like, you just want to squish this little guy's face. He's got on a studded collar and big leather this and that. And we just want to trade in that studded collar for a sweater and just eat a cupcake with these dogs. Absolutely. However, just because we're able to look at them and see that doesn't mean that that's what everybody is going to see. And I really truly believe that that is okay. We don't all have to see things the same way. I see spiders very differently than what a lot of people in the world see spiders, and they absolutely scare me to death. Like, I'm not even joking at all. They scare me to death. The tiniest of little spiders can make me breathe quicker and my heart beat faster. So I think that that's the first thing that I would say, that when we're even approaching a stranger, and this person has a look on his face or says something about how the dog looks, I think the first thing that we need to practice and that we need to do is say, okay, he's not trying to offend me or my dog. He is expressing his fear. That is his problem, but he's expressing that outwardly. And now I want to meet that fear with compassion, with knowledge, and with love. Did you have a story about someone that looked at, I can't remember if it was Romeo or Tank, where they looked at him?
Okay. Yeah. And I think what she was saying too is really hard as parents of these awesome dogs to remember that. Because I feel like a lot of the time we just take it so personally, when in fact it's not necessarily directed towards us, or necessarily in some cases directed towards the dog. It's a true fear response that just comes out. Like it's an emotional fear response that I feel like sometimes it's just natural for people to just blurt out.
Involuntary.
Exactly.
Involuntary. Yeah. Fear is incredibly involuntary.
Yeah. So it's really important for us to remember. And that takes practice. That's not going to happen the first time or the second time. Like you have to actively remind yourself of that.
Right. When you scream at a mouse really quick,
oh my gosh.
Involuntary response.
Yeah.
That's, when I scream at a spider, involuntary. When someone says, oh my gosh, your dog is so scary, involuntary. It's the same thing. It's not, oh my gosh, I hate your dog. Like sometimes that's how it comes out in English too, but it's just it's a scream.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm so scared. But you're not going to say, so.
Yeah. And how we react to that really matters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So in my case, I was walking in the neighborhood with the foster dog I had at the time. His name's Romeo. Short, stocky dog. Somebody had cropped his ears at some time, so he looked a little bit more intimidating than he actually was. He was fantastic. And I was just walking in the neighborhood, minding my own business, and this elderly couple, they were sitting in their porch, and he yells something to the effect of, that dog looks like it's going to bite me in the face. And I was so taken aback by that, because I was like, okay, what a ridiculous comment. This is what I'm thinking on the inside. And like, how dare you say something like you don't know him, whatever. Thankfully, I had been a couple years under Michelle Serocki's belt, so I knew. Sweet. So I knew exactly how I needed to react. And I had been to a Pitbull University. Plug Pitbull University. You guys should attend for sure. But I had the tools to know what to do. So I stopped and I didn't get defensive. And I kind of chuckled a little bit because it was an outrageous comment. And I said that that really couldn't be further from the truth. And I paused and I said, "Would you like to meet him?" And the guy paused too. So we were kind of like in a standstill, like, who's going to say what first? And he goes, "I'll try." And I was like, "Perfect. You'll try. Of course." Like, that's all I need. Like, I just need like a moment in time.
Right.
So we walked up this guy's driveway and Romeo was fantastic. Like, there's truly no better advocate than a smiley, happy dog that's
Yeah, you have the
that's
right
just
one. You have the
chill.
right one with you.
Right, which is super important to note too, because I wouldn't have done that if I had Tank. So like Tank is a big beefy guy as well, but he loves to get in your lap and he loves to lick your face. So if the guy truly thought that that dog was going to bite his face off, Tank would not have been the right dog.
Right.
So it's really important to know your dog and to know the limitations of your dog and to not push it just for the sake of advocacy, because I really could have turned that guy south had I had a dog that was in his face. But Romeo was perfect. He was bomb proof. And I knew that he was just going to sit there and stay still. And the guy petted him and we had a nice conversation. And that guy had never really met a pit bull type dog before and had never really known anything other than what was in the news. But that day, because of how I reacted and I didn't let him get under my skin, even though he did irritate me,
that would have went so differently if you would have done what I did before I was an advocate, what you did before you were an advocate, and what so many people that we meet from year to year to year do, which is, he would never bite your face off. Why would you even say that? You look like you're going to bite someone's face off.
Or I would bite your face off before him.
Exactly. Your face is so ugly. I want to bite it right now. Like, we think it's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, guys. I'm pretty sure that if you think back, even if you're really good at this now, if we all think back, we've all been there and we've all done it really, really wrong. And if you are someone that is listening right now and you're who I just imitated and now you're offended because I just imitated you that way, don't be. We've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can try and practice, and we know that it takes a lot of practice.
It does.
But had she done that day, he would have disliked pit bulls even more. He would have disliked their owners even more. And the next time that he saw a pit bull, he would have maybe even said something that was even more offensive because he would have been reflecting on that day. Now, the next time he sees a pit bull after this interaction, I can guarantee you he probably wouldn't say something like that and might, in fact, just say, "Is your pit bull nice and may I meet it?" And then he might have a second encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what builds and builds. But yeah, it doesn't come natural. And sometimes there is literally a feeling like building up in my throat sometimes, depending on what is said to me. And in 12 years, a lot has been said to me. Believe me, a lot has been said. And some of it is incredibly off the charts. And you have to swallow that big thing in your throat down and just go, okay, I am going to represent my dog and and all of these pit bull type dogs. I'm going to represent them right now by showing love and kindness and compassion, no matter what my insides feel like. Because I can go home and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe her. I can get around the corner and stomp my feet and be really, really upset and say to Romeo, "Can you believe that guy?
Right.
What a jackass." Da, da, da.
Right.
But but that is just, it's so huge. And I think sometimes too, we feel like, I'm not even going to ask him if he wants to meet because there's no way that would happen.
Right. Yeah, I was
You never
really
know.
surprised that he even said yes. And like he didn't technically say yes. He said that he would try, but like that's really all that we need sometimes is just a shot. And again, too, like stressing the fact that you have to have a good dog that's able to do that. And again, too, like I knew that Romeo would be good, but had it been a more hyper dog, based on his comment, I knew that like, okay, it could go south. So you really, if you're going to advocate in the community with a dog, it has to be an absolute bomb-proof, amazing dog.
Right. And don't feel bad if you don't have a bomb-proof dog.
Yeah.
Oh, and bomb-proof, just so, I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
if this is a universal national term or whatever. For us, bomb-proof means if we're in public and someone threw a bomb and it landed next to our dog would still stand there and smile and be super happy and would wag his tail and his whole body. I've never owned a bomb-proof dog. I've owned pit bulls for 18 years, and I never once have had a bomb-proof dog yet. Capone was far from bomb-proof because he couldn't be successfully around animals other than his housemates at home. He was bomb-proof in a room full of people,
Right.
but that was it. So he wasn't completely bomb-proof.
But you knew his limits, which is important too. Like you didn't pretend that he was something that he wasn't, you know, which I feel like can be a slippery slope for people advocates sometimes, because their dog is really good at home and their dog is fantastic and their dog is awesome. But when you get in public, it's a different story, which is totally fine and very understandable from a dog behavior standpoint. Got it. But I think it's really important to be honest with yourself to understand that, like, I may not have.
Before COVID, people didn't allow me in public very much.
Yeah,
they don't like to take me out. So, you know,
stay at home.
I guess my point in that, and I know that we've got to start wrapping things up here, but I guess my point in that too was don't feel pressured. Just love your dog for who they are. And if they're not an advocate dog, that's totally okay. And I don't want you to feel like you have to force them to try and be that. You can always work on bettering your animal. Absolutely. That's great. And behavior modification and whatnot. But I know that lots of people, they really want to fit. They want it so bad. And their dog is just not realistic.
And that's okay.
Right. But if they don't heed to that, it can really cause problems in public. And then that's not great.
Yeah, we definitely always believe in taking the high road, especially for this example. Like, what do you do when strangers are talking bad? Don't engage ever. Like, don't get into a shouting match. Don't say rude or snarky comments back.
If you haven't been able to practice this behavior yet, then just keep walking. Yeah, you know, that dog looks like he's going to that dog looks like he's going to bite my face off. I'm sorry that you feel that way. We'll we'll just keep going. You have a great day.
Yeah, that's actually something that, like, I practically almost always say that now, because it's something that is easy to roll off the tongue. And two, sometimes when you apologize to people for the way that they feel, they're like kind of taken aback. You know, like, oh, I'm sorry you're so afraid, or like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And they're like, well, what?
Yeah.
You're not yelling at me? Like,
and let's be sorry. Like, sincerely, you guys. What? I am so sorry that people have to live. I feel so sorry for them. Like, genuinely in my heart, I feel so sorry for these people that have to live frightened of a dog passing by. I think that is just heartbreaking. So let's really sincerely and genuinely be sorry. So if that's all that you can say until you practice it a little bit better, then that's awesome. Then go and just go on your way. But does anybody? I think we're just wrap it up.
I'm sure you don't want to talk.
I do want to keep talking forever. And I wanted you to tell your tank story, but I don't want to go too far.
Oh,
I think that one's really
plenty
cute.
of stories.
No, it's really funny though. We'll just tell it really
quick. Okay, so again, in my neighborhood, I don't know what's with my neighborhood, but I was walking Tank, and he's a beefy little man.
He's a tank.
He is a tank.
He grew into his name.
Seriously. This guy was like, he was watching us walk, and he was like, "Hey, how's Killer today?" And I laughed because it was a funny comment, and I knew that guy wasn't necessarily very serious. And I was like, "Oh, my husband's doing good today." And, like, you know, like, getting the focus off of Tank and on to Kyle, and I just totally flipped it and had fun with it.
Didn't even acknowledge that the comment, you know, and it was just funny.
It was pretty funny.
Just kept walking.
Yeah, which you can't necessarily do all of the time, but, like, in that situation, it was kind of funny. I was like, yeah, my husband's good. kept walking. I never said
Did Kyle
anything.
do anything?
No, he didn't.
He just smiled.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm good. I don't know if Kyle heard. Poor guy.
All right. So does anybody that is tuned in, does anyone have any questions or ideas of things that you, similar to what we were talking about today? So some sort of advocacy related problem that you have in your community, a different type of problem that you encounter that, you know, you might think you're handling it really, really well, but maybe you just want another idea or a different set of eyes on the problem. So if any of you have any of those things that you want to throw in the comment section, we would love to take a look at the problems that you have and see if we have ever encountered it. We're going to read some of the other comments that you guys have put out here too once we're not live, because at least it's really hard for me. I can't read the comments and keep concentrating on what we're talking about.
Only concentrate on one thing.
Right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget about our raffle stuff that we have going on. Check out there should be posts. Well, at 5 o'clock, I think the post is going in the event, and on our main Facebook page. So I think that the prizes are already, the pictures are already up. The tickets are already available. So you're so welcome, Jen. And
it's not Corona, I swear. I just have a weird tickle in my throat.
Coughing is a scary thing now.
I know. I feel like I have to apologize a billion times.
I know. So do I.
Got a little something in my
Oh, great question. Great question. You know what? You guys can keep posting questions. I think that would be a really fun one. So Edith says, how do you change the minds of police officers that hate the breed? Luckily for us, I did in-service training with about 2,000 Milwaukee Police Department officers, and over the course of 6 weeks, and 2,000 police officers, let me tell you, it was a small percentage of them that wanted me in the room with them at all. So by the time that we were done, they almost all loved me.
Oh, of course.
And a lot more of them understood some things about pit bulls. So I would love to tackle that. And if you're from outside of Wisconsin, I mean, Milwaukee Police Department, they come in contact with some really difficult situations and some really difficult dogs. And we unfortunately shoot a lot of dogs here, and that's why we did that in-service training. Because it's scary. And so, yeah, I would love to share some of that information with you. I think that sounds like a really cool thing. So we'll talk about that. Next week. Sounds good. Yeah. Sounds great. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Thank you for telling your friends about this and having them tune in. We'll be on again next Wednesday at 4 o'clock again. Invite them also to watch it if they're at work during that time, depending on what time zone you're in and whatnot. Invite them to watch it on our, share it from our Facebook page. Get it out there. Okay, you guys.
Thank you.
Have a really great rest of your day. We're so thankful for you. Bye-bye.